We're back to talk about fibroids, endometriosis, and PCOS today. I want to teach you a little bit about how these conditions are related to the immune system, because remember, immune factors are the third leading root cause of miscarriage. And it's really important that we talk about my headphones are doing something very strange. I hope you can hear me okay. Hold on a second here. Okay. They won't stop talking. How funny is that? How funny is that my headphones will not stop talking to me? Okay. All right, let's keep going. So before I talk to you, we go into our micro lesson for today. I want to tell you a story about a mama who came to FPI after she came through a referral by actually Mama Danica Braisha, who many of you will know because she is somebody who has shared so generously about her Primemester and what it's meant for her and her family. And she's actually pregnant with her second super baby right now. And this mama, whose story I want to tell you today, was referred by Mama Danica Braisha. And when she came to FPI, I'll never forget it. She had experienced 4 losses. And I mean, it's something that you never expect. You don't go in expecting even 1 loss, and then having 4 back-to-back losses within the span of 2 to 3 years. I'm not remembering the exact period of time off the top of my head. And I remember we had just moved from Los Angeles to Las Vegas. And I can remember being in the Airbnb that we were staying in Las Vegas until we found a more permanent home. And having just arrived there and receiving a message from this mama, and just the agony, the pain that I could hear and feel. And I remember she came into her Primemester. She did the highest level of the Primemester. So she did her Prime DNA with us. I mean, she was all in. And she was really expecting to do that and then to need to go into IVF afterward. And she is a mama who at the time, I believe, was already in her late 30s or early 40s. And she went all in. I remember hearing her updates and just would get messages. I'm so grateful for you. I'm so grateful for your work. I'm so grateful for your team. And then she finished her Primemester and she got pregnant naturally right away. And I'll never forget getting the message from her. And what I think was so remarkable, the thing that really strikes me, is that when she shared about being pregnant with her super baby, she already knew that everything was going to be perfect with this pregnancy and that she was actually going to have a baby this time. And I'm sure that on some level she had fear because she had experienced these losses before. But after this transformation that felt like this amazing opening that happened, you could just feel it and see it in her. It was as if she had the utmost clarity and conviction that everything was going to be fine with this pregnancy and that she was going to take home her super baby, her healthy, happy, bright, well-adjusted baby. And she did. And she had her first super baby, a super baby girl. Well, imagine her surprise when she Primestered again. And before she even completed her Primester, found out she was pregnant again. And this time, I think she had little to no fear. She knew she was going to have this super baby. And again, she was right. And so I just want to share this story with you. Something told me today to share this story with you. I mean, I I just think that even when it seems like there's no hope, there's still so much to do. And Mama, I see you on Instagram. We've been trying for 2 years and nothing. My husband's 57, I'm 37. I've had 4 C-sections in the past. Okay, so Mama, when I publish this, when I finish the live and I publish it, please put me in the comments and we'll send you a resource that I believe will help you. Okay? Meanwhile, I'm just ignoring the conversation that my headphones are having. They're supposed to be connecting to my cell phone to make the sound better, but since that's probably not happening, I'll just take them off so they stop distracting me. Okay, let's talk about, so we're talking about the third leading root cause of miscarriage, which is immune factors. So let's talk about fibroids, endometriosis, and PCOS as they relate to the immune system. So let's start with fibroids. Now, I shared with you a statistic yesterday that between 70 and 80% of all women will experience fibroids, develop fibroids by their 50th birthday. So I also gave you a statistic yesterday that 40% of women of reproductive age experience some sort of reproductive condition. If you expand that to include the group of women who will experience fibroids, it's actually double that because it's up to 80%, which is really crazy. But even if you don't include that category, still up to 40% of women I've calculated are experiencing some form of reproductive condition, and many experience multiple reproductive conditions. And when you hear about how these 3 conditions that we're highlighting relate to the immune system and also to autoimmunity and to digestion and the microbiome, even more specifically, you won't be surprised that many women experience multiple of these. Okay, so let's start with fibroids. This is by far the most common. Like I said, 70 to 80% of women will develop fibroids by their 50th birthday. So inflammation, if you're primestering, you already know this. Inflammation is believed to play a role in fibroid development, and fibroids have been found to produce inflammatory substances, and these inflammatory cells can be seen and in and around fibroids. So there's obviously a large inflammation component to the development and maintenance of fibroids and the problems that they're causing at a systemic level. The direct link between fibroids not well established, but chronic inflammation can be a precursor to or contributor to autoimmune disorders, suggesting a potential indirect connection, at least between fibroids and autoimmunity. Okay, so now let's talk about endometriosis, which is the second of the 3 we're discussing today. Women with endometriosis often exhibit immune dysregulation. Their bodies can sometimes struggle to recognize and eliminate endometrial cells outside the uterus, allowing these cells to implant and grow in other areas. Some studies suggest that endometriosis is an autoimmune disease, but that's still debated among experts. Women with endometriosis are more likely to have other autoimmune disorders, however, such as systemic lupus and other types of autoimmune disorders. And I have a dear friend, I love her so much, who has lupus and has experienced the loss of multiple pregnancies and infants as a result of lupus. So this is something that has to really be managed and looked at carefully. And just my heart goes out thinking about her and anybody else who has experienced what she's experienced. Okay, then PCOS. Inflammation is a notable feature in PCOS. Women with PCOS often have elevated levels of inflammatory markers like C-reactive protein. And this indicator, this marker of inflammation, CRP, is linked to a number of health outcomes, including longevity. So it's very, very important. This chronic low-grade inflammation or even high-grade inflammation that's associated with PCOS can contribute to insulin resistance, which is a key feature of PCOS. When it comes to autoimmunity, the link between PCOS and autoimmunity is not as direct as with endometriosis. However, there is some evidence that women with PCOS may have increased autoimmune activity or be at risk for higher risk for autoimmune thyroid disorder. So you can see the intricate relationships. First of all, how each of these conditions is tied to the immune system. Each of them has an inflammatory root, and in either through direct or indirect pathways, they're also related to or linked to or correlated with autoimmunity or other indicators that can increase risk, markers that can increase risk for autoimmunity. So these are complex relationships. And autoimmunity, I'll just say one more thing about autoimmunity. Studies show that the majority, if not all, autoimmune disorders have at their root the gut and specifically leaky gut. And so it's really important to understand that all of these intricate relationships come back to the gut, come back to the digestive system, which we call the mother of our fertility, and come back to the microbiome, which we consider to be the second genome and the second epigenome. If you're primestering, you already know about all of these links and you're already working on all of these links. If you are not primestering and you don't know about them, you must know about them, because most perspectives on these conditions will not take into account the full system, complex network that is at play here. So I'll be back tomorrow. We'll be talking tomorrow. We'll continue to talk about immune factors and how these specific conditions are linked to difficulty getting and or staying pregnant and what can be done. Now, if you're somebody who's experienced pregnancy loss, or you're afraid of pregnancy loss, you're excited to be pregnant, but you're nervous about pregnancy loss because you hear so many things, and because you now know that upwards of 50% of pregnancies result in loss in the average population. So we've got to do as much as we can leading up to conception to protect against miscarriage risk and these common root causes of miscarriage. So if this is something that you need to be thinking about, you are thinking about, or you have experienced, please be sure to join me and my amazing team October 10th, 11th, and 12th. We will be together for a live 3-day virtual retreat that you can join from the comfort of your own home anywhere in the world. It's completely free to join. And you can join us at fertilitypregnancy.org. Oh my goodness, it's a long URL. Let me make sure I have the right one before I say that. I apologize. It's, here we go. Okay, it's fertilitypregnancy.org/pregnancy-loss-prevention-retreat. So it's fertilitypregnancy.org/pregnancy-loss-prevention-retreat with dashes in between each words. Each of the words, if you can just go to Instagram, click the link in my bio. That'll make it simple for you. I'll also put it, or my team will put it in the comments, or just comment me in the comments, or DM us the word me, and we will send you the information so you can RSVP for free. We are limited to 300 people 300 women for this event, and we've only had registration open for a couple of days, and I believe we are already at 194 or something the last time that I looked. So if you would like to join us, please make sure to act quickly so that you can get one of the spots. Okay. All right, so I will be back to see you tomorrow. We will have another video tomorrow on how endometriosis, fibroids, and PCOS can make it harder to get and or stay pregnant, and what is within our power to do about these things. And it's important to remember that it's not just about addressing symptoms, it's about addressing the root causes as much as possible. I will see you tomorrow. Have a beautiful rest of the day. Let me see.